Okay, another question we have here is how do breathing habits actually affect us? There's an immense answer to this. The first thing is you can look at the different kinds of effects on physiology, and then secondly, you can look at the symptoms that come about as a result of the change in the physiology. Now, there's a huge list of things that happen in terms of physiological change. And let me just name some of them. One of them is where you get constriction of smooth muscles. What does that mean? Well, smooth muscles are muscles, for example, that operate the vasculature in your body. You know, where you get vasoconstriction, vasodilation all over the body, depending upon, the metabolism in different parts of your body. So in the brain, for example, the amount of carbon dioxide in the brain determines where the blood goes. So where there's a little bit of carbon dioxide, you get contraction in the brain. And where there's a lot of carbon dioxide, you get dilation, where things open up and there's more blood that gets there. So if a tissue in the brain is being used because you're thinking or you're doing something, and there's a lot of blood flow there, there's a lot of blood flow there because there's a lot of carbon dioxide created there. Because the neurons in the brain are active and they're generating carbon dioxide. And the presence of that carbon dioxide will lead to the dilation or the opening up of the vasculature in the brain to let more blood in there, which means more oxygen's getting there, more blood sugar is getting there, and it's serving the metabolism in that particular area of your brain. So if you overventilate because you're concerned about getting more oxygen, you're worried you have a COVID mask on, you're worried about it, you try to get more air, and what happens is the carbon dioxide level goes down and you get constriction of the vessels in the brain. And as a result, you can't think very well, you can't remember, it's like taking a drug. You get dizzy, you get disoriented, you don't know what's happening, and when some people feel that dizziness, they feel like they're losing control, and they start to panic. They start to really get frightened and anxious as they sense that disorientation because of the reduced blood flow, reduced oxygen, reduced glucose. And when that happens, you get all kinds of emotional responses. And also because you've compromised the neurons in the brain, you also get all kinds of triggering of emotions. You can see people start to cry. I've done this work for years, and they start to overventilate a little bit. We have them do it on purpose. They'll start to cry, they get upset, they get fearful. There's all kinds of responses that occur as a result of that reduced blood flow to the brain. But it's not just smooth muscles in the brain. It can be in the heart. And you can get all kinds of electrocardiographic kinds of changes, different kinds of cardiac symptoms. You get bronchial constriction, so that it becomes more difficult to breathe. So if you have asthma and you start reaching for more air, you'll find it more difficult to breathe because those muscles are constricting. And so you get constriction of smooth muscles all around the body that generate all kinds of symptoms. These are just examples. There are so many other examples. Others are things like you get electrolyte changes over a long period of time. If you breathe this way for a long time where you keep dumping out carbon dioxide, you can compromise your acid buffer supply. You compromise your bicarbonate supply, and you need bicarbonates to buffer acids like lactic acid and keto acids, and you compromise that, and that can contribute to a fatigue syndrome. There are long-term effects of breathing this way. There are short-term effects. There are subtle effects. There are dramatic kinds of effects, like you feel like you're suffocating would be a dramatic outcome. And then there are the subtle effects where there's a change in how you're experiencing things around you because of that reduced blood flow, and how that may interact with your personality, and different aspects of your personality may emerge as a function of what we call a state change in the brain. There's all kinds of things. That's just for starters, but we'll move to the next question now.